Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is your favorite ringside physician, Dr. Vazquez. I am super stoked. MMA, the MMA world is kind of coming back into normalcy a little by little. UFC 249 goes down in the first week of May in Jacksonville, Florida. Here in Florida, I live in Florida. I'm a certified ringside physician here in the state of Florida. So there's a chance I might work these cards. So I'm super excited about that. Of course, I know that you guys out there looking at the video have your questions and different opinions on if UFC 249 should go down or it shouldn't. Of course, I'm the same way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I think it's completely okay. Of course, I have my doubts, as everybody has, but nobody has concrete information. The only thing I could do as a certified official through the Boxing Commission here in the state of Florida is if the sanctioning bodies and the government officials approve this fight and I have to work the event, I can do my best job and keep these athletes as healthy as possible. That's the only thing I can humanly do my job excellently. So Patrick Cunningham, give your boy a call. Okay, having said that, this video is not completely about that. This video, today I want to talk about an injury that's been nagging a fighter that fights on this card, and I believe is really important and relevant and a very teachable moment. Of course, we all know that Henry Cejudo faces Dominick Cruz for the 135-pound title. Dominick has held that title in multiple occasions, beating TJ Dillashaw, and before that holding the title for a very long time. Of course, this great matchup. Henry Cejudo, an Olympic wrestler. I mean, he holds 2 belts in 2 weight divisions, 135, 125 pounds. He's a consummate athlete. He's very cringy. I get it. He's cringe AF, as you kids say, but a great fighter nonetheless, besides his online antics. But he is, you know, pitted against one of the greatest tacticians in the game, Dominick Cruz. Dominick Cruz, his mind is superior to none. I mean, GSP has great fight IQ. Who else? Mighty Mouse has great fight IQ, but I believe Dominick Cruz has a great ability to change mid-fight and to really, you know, bring angles and wrestling. He's just a tremendous tactician. Also plays amazing mind games before his fights. And there was an injury that I believe affected his, when he lost the title against Cody Garbrandt, there was an injury that was nagging him. I believe that it played a huge role in his performance that night. Of course, like my friend Eric Alexander from Liga Combate said, Cody Garbrandt pitched a no-hitter in that fight. So that was a perfect fight for him. So, you know, all the kudos and all the congratulations and all the accolades go to Cody Garbrandt. But I believe the plantar fasciitis that Dominick Cruz had played an important role. Now, let's talk about plantar fasciitis for a second. When we look at the feet, let's look at the feet right there anatomically. Under in the sole of the foot, there's a piece of tissue, a pearly white fibrous tissue. It's almost like a stretched out glove because it has 5 projections that go towards the toes. And that is the support of the arch. I'm talking about the plantar fascia. The plantar fascia, a very important structure. When we see the foot from the side, you could see how the plantar fascia almost acts like a shock absorber for all the weight of the foot. Now, plantar fascia is the inflammation of that. Of course, there's 2 points of contact. The plantar fascia in the talar area, so the posterior part of the foot, and then it goes throughout all the foot and attaches, like you guys see on that picture, to the toes, almost underneath to the toes. So it brings great stability and allows a little bit of bounce on the foot, and it creates that all-important arch. Now, there's mechanisms on how we get plantar fascia. There's plenty of mechanisms that have been postulated. Microfractures, trauma, but at the end of the day, is inflammation. Inflammation, the foot is like Miami. You cannot construct anything else in Miami. Everything is packed with buildings. The foot is the same, a small space. In the abdomen, we have cavities. There's space for inflammation and fluid if you were to get an injury or something hit you in the stomach. A lot of space for fluid to distribute. In the foot, not so much. So any type of accumulation of fluid in the foot, inflammation, is going to be tremendously painful. It's in the sole of the foot. You walk on it. If you're hurt on your elbow, you don't have to walk on your elbows. So if you have tendonitis, you can just rest it, you know, have some anti-inflammatory medication, some ice, and you're good to go. In the bottom of the feet, quite different, right? So you have to do rehab exercises. You have to take your medication. There's a lot of therapies. But to diagnose, it's just physical, right? There's different physical, palpation of along the plantar fascia and dorsiflexion of the foot. That's when you grab the foot and you push it up. This is the leg and the foot. This is a great teaching material I'm giving you guys right now. So the fascia is along there, you're pressing down, you're pushing up. You get the diagnosis. You get what I'm saying. You put pressure on it, it hurts. So once you have the diagnosis, you don't have to get an MRI like your knees. You don't have to get fancy imaging studies, although you can, right? It doesn't bring a lot to the table. But Dominick, the important thing that it's worth talking here is that Dominick Cruz, his footwork. Let's take a look-see at his footwork here. He has unorthodox footwork. Now that footwork causes shearing forces that are even more. If you see a regular orthodox fighter and just forward, a little bit of side movement, he's not putting that much tension in those fibers. But a fighter like Dominick Cruz, he's cutting really sharp angles and putting his feet through a cheese grinder. A cheese grinder, guys. His plantar fasciitis had to be horrendous. Think about it. It's not that he's injury prone, it's that the mechanics of the footwork that he uses with lateral motion has created shear in his ACL, has created shear in his plantar fascia. So to have this unorthodox, tremendous, fantastic, fun to watch footwork, it has its toll on the body. That's why we have such an infrequent Dominick Cruz. That's a hashtag, an infrequent Dominick Cruz. But when we get it, and we get it completely healthy, ooh, it's a treat. It's an amazing thing to watch. So how do you treat it? Of course, you treat it with anti-inflammatories, ice, PT, physical therapy, rest, R&R, rest and relaxation. Dominick Cruz doesn't seem like the guy who likes his R&R. He's an intense dude. A great commentary. I love that guy. I love that guy completely as a fighter, and I look up to him as an analyst completely. His clarity in seeing things and breaking down fights, amazing, bar none. Him and Robin Black is my favorite analyst. Of course, the treatment, the good thing about this is that the UFC Performance Institute is right there helping him along the way. They have the best resources, the best rehab. Of course, this is something new, right? The UFC Performance Institute is something new. So I expect to see a great Dominick Cruz. We are in for a fantastic show. He's been on the shelf for 3 years approximately. His feet have been resting. He has been actively treated in the UFC Performance Institute. He says he's 100%. And you know what, guys? After all this time and all this treatment, I believe him. So we're about to see a tremendous fight. And I'm giving him a huge chance to uncrown Triple C, Cejudo. But the problem is plantar fasciitis. We have the answer. Enough time has gone by. He has the best tools for treatment. Now, I wanted to talk about surgical approach of treatment of plantar fasciitis because it's not useful. There's there's different surgeries. If you have a bony spur, maybe it helps if you're an older person, but for an elite athlete, surgery is off the books, especially MMA. You need your feet so much for MMA, so it's something that is not realistic for him. But remember this video. The adequate amount of time and treatment has passed for Dominick Cruz. So his injury, although important, and that Cody Garbrandt, he famously said in the Joe Rogan podcast, he hurried the return to competition. Not now. So we're looking at something really special. Let's hope his knee and his arm holds too. Jesus Christ. All the injuries. But if everything holds, we're in for a treat, guys. I think this is the best matchup that we can make. Of course, Aljamain Sterling is there. I'm sorry, Aljo. I know you'll get your chance. You're young. We're going to get this fight, and it's going to be really, really fun. Of course, thank you guys for your support here in the channel. You guys are fantastic. 2,500 followers already as subscribers, so I'm extremely stoked about that. We're gonna keep profiling all our fighters for 249, and of course, if I get the call to participate, you guys are gonna get an inside look of what that fight card looks like. So thank you for your support. Keep liking and sharing, because when you share the content, of course, the algorithm in YouTube it helps me get to more screens. Of course, I'm the only certified ringside physician making these videos. Of course, there's other mimics, there's other copycats out there copying even my thumbnails to get their sport injury content. They like their MMA fan base now, but they are not ringside physicians like I am. They're just reading out a Medscape page word by word, and they're not putting any flavor in their videos. So I'm on to you. Stop copying my shit. Thank you guys for your support.